Okay, this afternoon, Nigerian time, of course, we'll be looking at these two, active and passive voice. Active and passive voice. Before we even start discussing active and passive voice, there is something you need to understand or know first. Okay, when you say subjects, what do you mean?
It's the person that is. Wait, sorry, you mean subject and predicates?
Yeah. So what is a subject?
Subject is the person, the name of the person that is speaking in the story.
Yeah, the name of the person or animal or anything that is performing the action, right?
Yeah.
Now, then when you say verb, of course, you know what it means.
Yes, a verb is an action word.
Good. Now, if I say David killed Goliath, can you point out the subject and the verb for me, please?
The subject is David. The subject is David, and then the verb is killed.
What about Goliath?
Goliath is a subject too.
No, Goliath is
No,
not
Goliath is there. Is the what's it called?
object.
Is the predicate.
No, Goliath is the object. So I want to explain, that's what I want to explain to you. Objects. Object receives the action. Okay, so to understand active and passive voice, you must first understand these three terms: the subject, the verb, and the object. Now, the subject is the one performing the action. The verb is the action itself, and the object is the noun that receives the action. Now, David here is the subject because he is the one performing the action, killed. Who is receiving the action here? Who is being killed? That is the object.
Goliath.
Goliath. Good. So David, the subject, the verb killed, and Goliath, the object. Now, passive voice. Good. Passive voice is when the subject in your sentence is placed at the beginning and it performs the action in the sentence. Now, note this, for active voice, the subject must be at the beginning of the sentence, okay?
Yes.
So, Mark proposed to Caroline. Who is the subject there, or what is the subject?
Mark.
Yes. Now, Mark, this sentence become an active voice because Mark, being the subject, is written or begins the sentence, right?
Yes.
So if the subject begins a sentence, it is called an active voice. You can say is the subject, propose is the verb, and the object is Caroline. Now, Katie baked a chocolate cake today. The subject obviously is Katie. Now, this is an active voice because the subject begins the sentence. Okay? So for active voice, the subject must begin the sentence. Okay? Now, for passive voice, the subject goes to the end of the sentence or towards the end. Okay? Do you understand? Yeah. Now look at this sentence. Mark proposed to Caroline. Can you reconstruct this sentence and take Mark to the last and bring Caroline to the first? Can you just try it?
That I should do what?
Can you reconstruct the sentence here? Mark proposed to Caroline, taking Mark to the end and taking Caroline to the beginning of the sentence?
That means it's Caroline who proposed to Mark.
You've changed the meaning now. If you say Caroline proposed to Mark, I want you to retain the meaning. You can add one or two words, okay? Now, the sentence here reads, Mark proposed to Caroline. That means the man in the picture here is proposing to the fiancée, the girl. Now, I want you to swap the two names, but retain the meaning. Can you try and construct a sentence that we, retain the meaning, but we take Mark to the last and Caroline to the beginning of the sentence?
No, I don't think I know that one.
Okay. We will find the answer as we proceed. Now, like I said, for passive, the subject moves to the end. For example, look at this sentence now. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So, but do they mean the same thing?
No. Yes.
They mean both of them mean the same thing, right?
Yes.
But Mark being the subject was taken to the last here and Caroline back to the first. So if the subject begins the sentence, it is called active. But if the subject ends the sentence, it becomes passive. Look at this one. A chocolate cake was baked today by
Katie.
Now, what is the subject there in the second sentence, please?
That's a chocolate cake.
I mean, what is the subject there in the second sentence?
Chocolate cake.
Katie, yeah. No, chocolate cake is the object. Who is performing the action in the sentence? Katie. Now, but you see, Katie ends the sentence. Okay? Katie ends the sentence, so that makes it passive. Okay? So you see, chocolate cake becomes the object. The baked is the verb, but the subject, instead of starting the sentence with the subject, Katie, ends the sentence, and that makes it passive voice. The subject can sometimes be left out in the passive. Okay. Now, what is this? Is this passive or active?
The teacher told James James of her swing in class.
Is this active or passive?
I guess it is passive.
Now, what is the subject in the sentence?
The teacher.
Good. Now, and I told you that if the subject begins the sentence, it is what? Active. Good. So you are correct here. So this is active. Now, look at these examples. Now, I want you to write all these. That is, you are going to tell me the answers, okay? I want you to write these sentences in passive voice. So, number one, what will you say?
The man was haunted by police.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Now, the man was haunted by the police. You are very correct. Now, what is the subject there?
The man.
No.
No, I meant the police.
The police. Okay. The police is the one doing the action, and the police is taking the subject is taken to the last. Now, Dave's car, let's go.
Dave's car was stolen by joyriders.
What is the subject there?
What's it called? Joyriders.
Very correct. Okay, number three.
Number three, the word Cups was won in Italy
by,
by Italy.
yeah, the Italy there, it's actually a football team, not just the country, okay? The World Cup was won by Italy. The entire pizza
Was eaten
add something
last
by
that night.
no, was eaten by Toby that night. Now you see the subject is the subject is placed at the end of the sentence. Okay, let's see if there are now. This sentence is okay. Let me still break them down for you here. I just don't want anything misconstrued. Now, for the active, the subject must begin the sentence, right? So take note of that. For active, the subject must begin the sentence. For example, John was baptized. No. John is sleeping on the couch. Now, this is active. What is the subject here, please?
The couch.
No. What is the couch
no,
doing?
I meant John.
Yes.
John.
Now, John is the subject. And as long as John begins the sentence, it is what?
She's the active voice.
Active. Good. But I just want to clarify this before I give you something to do so that you can rest. I heard it's been a long week. Passive voice. The subject must end the sentence. Sometimes it can even be left out. So, okay, can you read that? Can you read what you have on the screen, please?
The bike was stolen by the madman.
So what is the subject here?
No, the madman.
Good. Now, because this madman is placed at the end of the sentence, what voice is it?
Active voice.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Because the subject madman is placed at the end of the sentence, what voice is it?
It's active voice. I mean passive voice.
No, it's passive. So please take note. If it begins, it's active. If it ends, it's passive.
It's passive.
Good. Now, let me send you something to just play with. Okay. Let me send you something to play with so you can practice more. Yeah, I think I have some here. Yeah, good. Hold on, it's just an exercise that will help you understand passive and active voice, okay? Good, active and worksheet. I'm going to place it on the chat right now. Okay, can you please check your chat? It's coming up now. Sent successfully here.
Okay, version.
Okay, you've seen it. Can you just please download?
Yes, it's downloading.
Yeah. Okay. Now, while you're doing that, let me play this video on passive and active voice for you.
So the video you're playing, I cannot hear it.
Okay, that's because I've not shared my sound. Okay, let me share again.
Subject is doing something, passive voice.
What am I now?
Yes, I can hear it.
Happening to it, active voice. The subject is doing something, passive voice. Something is happening to it. The subject is the first noun. The subject is the first noun.
You said?
No, so I can continue. You can continue putting it.
Okay.
The subject is the first noun. The subject is the first noun. Active voice. Joe wrote a letter. Passive voice. Joe was kicked. Active voice. Jess flew a kite. Passive voice. Jess was kidnapped. Fish. Active voice. The subject is doing something. Passive voice. Something is happening to it. Active voice. The subject is doing something. The subject is the first noun. The subject is the first noun. The subject is the first noun. Active voice. The school was very loud. Passive voice. The school was painted nicely. Active voice. Sam put out the fire. Passive voice. Sam was tripped up by a pig. Active voice. The subject is doing something.
Okay, I think you actually got an idea of what they're trying to explain to you there.
Active versus passive voice.
Active, passive.
What is voice?
Voice refers to the who or what that is doing the verb's action in a sentence.
So the thing that you sent in the chat was it was not going to work.
It's a document.
Yes, it's not going to work
Why?
because I just when I opened it, it says that what's it called? It says the word pad.
The word paths. Okay. Okay, maybe. Let me try resending.
Active voice.
Means that the subject is doing the action. Therefore, there's an active subject.
Passive voice.
Means the subject is receiving the action. Therefore, this is the passive subject.
So, to figure out whether a sentence is active or passive voice, look at the subject. Is the subject performing the action, active, or receiving the action, passive?
An example, the boy plays the piano.
Boy equals subject, plays equals verb, the boy is doing the action, therefore the boy is the active subject. Because the boy is the active subject,
Then this sentence is written in the active voice. The piano is played by the girl.
piano equals subject, is played equals verb, the piano is receiving or not doing the action, therefore the piano is the passive subject. Because the piano is the passive subject,
Then this sentence is written in the passive voice.
why do we care?
Active voice is more concise, easier to understand, and less work for your reader. Let's look at some examples.
Two sentences.
The dog scares the cat is scared by the dog.
In the first sentence,
The dog scares the cat,
the dog is the subject of the sentence and is actively doing the verb's action. Dog equals active subject.
this sentence is written in the active voice.
Now the second sentence.
The cat is scared by the dog.
The cat is the subject of the sentence, but the cat is not doing the verb's action. Cat equals passive subject.
Therefore, this sentence is written in the passive voice.
Now, some tips to help you rewrite passive voice into active voice. Number 1, identify the verb.
The thunder is heard by Kira. Heard is the verb.
Number 2, ask yourself who or what is doing the verb's action.
Kira is the one who hears. Therefore, she is doing the verb's action.
Number 3, rearrange the sentence order.
Kira heard the thunder.
Remember, keep the verb tense the same.
The pizza will be eaten by Mary.
Will be eaten is the future tense.
Mary will eat the pizza.
Will eat is also future tense.
Recap. Active voice. 1. More concise. 2. Easier to understand. 3. Less work for your reader.
Remember, the active subject is doing the verb's action. Visit Writing Services.
Okay, let's work on the worksheet. Let me see if you can share my screen. Worksheet. Let me see if you can share my screen so that perhaps you don't have to write. You just do it right here. Okay? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you don't have to write. This is what I want you to do. So once you do it, you can now. Just to confirm. Now, if you read these sentences, can you try to share so that I can grant you permission, please? Try to share so that I can grant you permission.
Okay.
What's the same? Do you have control? Okay, approve. Now, this is what I want you to do. If you read this sentence, okay, if it's an active voice, just delete the wrong answer. If it's a passive voice, just delete the wrong answer, right? So you can start.
The teacher told James of someone.
Okay, that's correct. Number 1 is correct. Move to number 2.
The milk was only bought this morning.
Now, if you have any problem with any number, just skip to the next one, then you come back later for the other one. Perfect. You're very correct.
That set the table for dinner.
That's correct again. So you have 3/3.
The car was pulled into the driveway. That your screen is paused.
No, my screen is okay. What about now? Okay.
No, just like I think your internet is bad.
Okay. It will come up shortly. My internet is not bad. Okay, what about now? So which answer did you pick in number 4?
Active.
No, look at it very well. Who pulled the car?
Oh yeah, it's true. This one is passive. The car was put into the driveway.
Good.
The drive.
They left out the subject this time. Okay.
I think I'll just use my own.
That's 4 over 4. Now you've got to number 1, number 2, number 3. That's the first. So go to number 5.
I cleaned out the rabbit yesterday. Okay, yeah, this one is right.
Of course, this one is straightforward. That's very correct. That's 50 over 50. That's 50% so far. I have 5 more.
James was told off by a teacher for swearing.
Good. You're a very smart young girl. And in a sentence, once you find the word by, definitely you're going to find a passive voice. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So keep moving. 60% so far. Number 7. Look at number 7 carefully, please.
That is what I mean. I think it's not supposed to be right there. It's supposed to be right here.
Yes.
I'll still use your own keyboard. Mine is a little bit slow.
Okay, that's 70%. You have 3 to go.
I only bought the milk this one. It's so hard. I'll come back to this one.
Yes, so move to number 9.
The rubber was cleaned out yesterday by me.
A few seconds
Yeah,
ago.
this one is wrong since I got.
Yeah. Very correct. So you have 80% now.
Mom pulled the cart into. Mom pulled the cart. Mom pulled the cart into the driveway.
There is a subject.
Mom pulled the cart into the driveway.
Very correct. So 90%, you have 1 left. That's number 8. Question 8.
Okay, I move up a little bit.
Are you trying to
Because I
print?
type. Yeah, let me just give it up and then I'll try it again.
Okay, number 8.
Yeah.
Look
Just
for
have
the
to try it
subject. Yeah, so for number 8, what's the subject there? For number 8, what is the subject? Hello,
Mm,
number 8, what is the subject? Perfect. So this 100%. Now, this clearly shows you understand passive and active voice. So congratulations. Now, you remember you downloaded 2 files yesterday. Are you listening to me?
yes.
Okay.